Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're breaking down a classic fable to find out why character and kindness actually end up beating physical appearance every single time. You know, we spend so much time in our modern world obsessing over the outward stuff, right? The flashy, the colorful, the magnificent. But time and time again, these ancient stories remind us that when real adversity strikes, it's the invisible qualities of a person that truly count. We're going to look closely at the story of the proud peacock and the kind sparrow to pull out some pretty timeless insights about vanity, humility, and what beauty actually means.
So, let's kick things off by challenging an everyday assumption we all make, which is that outward magnificence somehow equals superiority. It's totally human nature to look at someone, or in this case a creature, with striking physical features and just assume they've got a higher status. At first glance, you might think, no way, how could a plain, tiny bird ever compete with a peacock? But as we analyze this source material, we're going to see how our whole definition of beauty needs a major reframe. We'll deconstruct how outward beauty is just static, while kindness is an active choice that literally shapes the world around us.
Section 1. A Tale of Two Birds.
Let's set the scene. We're in a lush green forest, and right off the bat, there's this stark, undeniable contrast between our two subjects, way before any crisis even hits. On the one hand, we've got the peacock. He's incredibly beautiful, and he makes sure to admire his own colorful feathers every single day. But catch that little detail, heavy tail feathers. His beauty actually comes with physical weight, and as we'll see, a pretty massive ego to match. He's incredibly vain. Then, on the other hand, we have the sparrow. Small, plain, dull. She just kind of blends right into the background. But her defining traits aren't physical at all. They're behavioral. She is kind, and she is grounded. So we've got this perfect setup, a creature totally defined by the external, up against a creature totally defined by the internal.
Section 2. The Illusion of Superiority.
Before things take a dangerous turn here, we really need to look at how the peacock used his physical advantages to elevate himself while actively putting everyone else down. Literally every single day, the peacock would admire his feathers and deliver this boastful, laughing taunt to the humble sparrow. He'd say, "You are so tiny and dull. Look how magnificent I am." See, the peacock has completely fallen into the trap of believing that just because he's visually stunning, he's inherently better. He's weaponizing his appearance to belittle the sparrow. He's convinced himself that his entire worth is tied to his looks, completely ignoring the fact that his magnificent feathers contribute absolutely nothing to the actual forest community. His beauty is 100% self-serving.
But what's really fascinating here is the sparrow's wise, foreshadowing reply, because she doesn't get defensive. She doesn't throw an insult back. She just smiles and drops this incredible line. Beauty is wonderful, but kindness is even more valuable. She acknowledges his physical gifts, she isn't bitter or jealous at all, but she introduces a totally different way to look at the world. She's quietly laying down the truth that, hey, while it's nice to look at, kindness actually does things. Kindness builds bridges, and as we're about to see, her whole philosophy is about to be violently put to the test.
Section 3. The Great Wildfire Crisis. So, the comfortable status quo in this forest is about to be completely shattered. A peaceful summer day is suddenly interrupted by a terrible wildfire. The flames spread incredibly fast, and they act as the ultimate equalizer. When a fire breaks out, survival's all about speed and agility. And what happens to our magnificent peacock? Well, interestingly enough, in real life, peacocks are notoriously heavy, clumsy flyers, and this fable reflects exactly that. The very thing he boasted about, those heavy, colorful tail feathers, suddenly transforms from his greatest asset into a life-threatening liability. He gets hopelessly trapped. He literally cannot fly away because the weight of his own vanity is holding him down. In the face of a true emergency, aesthetics are totally useless. The forest doesn't care how beautiful he is. The fire doesn't care about his magnificent colors. He is completely helpless.
Section 4. Kindness in Action. With the peacock completely helpless and facing certain doom, it's time to see the sparrow's philosophy put to the ultimate test. This is what true beauty actually looks like in practice. First, she doesn't just fly away and save herself. She quickly gathers the other birds, rallying the whole community together. Next, they start carrying drops of water in their tiny beaks. Just think about the grueling effort that takes for a second. It's a massive, coordinated effort by these small, seemingly insignificant creatures working together. And finally, they lead the trapped peacock to a safe path. After a long, agonizing struggle, they guide him out of the fire. The sparrow, the exact same bird he mocked for being tiny and dull, just used her inner strength, her courage, and her kindness to literally save his life.
Section 5. Why Kindness Beats Beauty. So the fire has finally passed. They've escaped the flames, and the dynamic between these two has completely flipped. The peacock lowers his head, totally ashamed, and has this massive realization. He says, "I judged you by your appearance, but your courage and kindness saved my life." This is a huge breakthrough. The peacock finally sees the fatal flaw in his logic. He realizes that his heavy, beautiful feathers almost got him killed, while the plain, tiny bird he laughed at possessed a totally different kind of strength, a strength born of character. He finally understands that outward beauty is incredibly fragile, but courage and kindness, those have the tangible power to alter reality and actually save lives.
And the sparrow confirms this profound realization with a gentle smile, saying, "True beauty comes from a kind heart." Notice how remarkably consistent she is. She smiled when he insulted her at the beginning, and she's smiling now when he's completely humbled. She isn't gloating. She's not throwing it back in his face at all. She is simply restating the truth of the universe. True beauty isn't just a coat of feathers. It's a condition of the heart. It's about what you're willing to do for others, even the ones who have belittled you.
So let's wrap this up with our core takeaways. The absolutely crucial point here is that outward beauty is fragile and fleeting, but true character permanently changes how we interact with the world. Number 1, never judge others by their appearance. You literally never know what strength lies beneath a plain exterior. Number 2, remember that physical traits can become unexpected traps. What you view as your greatest asset might be the exact thing holding you down. Third, courage and character aren't just nice, fluffy ideas. They have practical, real-world, life-saving value. Fourth, kindness is the greatest beauty of all because it's active, it's not passive. And finally, as the peacock learned from that day forward, you have to treat every single creature with respect, regardless of how they look. His entire perspective on life was permanently rewritten by the actions of one humble bird.
You know, it is so easy to get caught up in how we present ourselves to the world, just obsessing over our own colorful feathers. But as we've seen from this incredible fable, when the fires of life inevitably spark, your outward appearance isn't going to save you. And it certainly won't help you save anyone else. It's your character that actually matters. So I'm going to leave you with this final thought. Next time you look in the mirror, ask yourself, how beautiful is your kindness? Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and I highly encourage you to